Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious music channel right here on YouTube. And one of the series that we've done on the channel for quite a while now is 5 great covers of. And generally, I will try and find like some covers that you maybe haven't heard or that most people aren't used to. But we always try and make sure it's on a band that you know very well. And today we're doing a band that everybody knows on Earth, the Beatles. Now, again, there are some very, very common covers of the Beatles that are out there that everybody knows, and even some artists who've covered the Beatles that maybe have other covers that you haven't heard. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on for the most part. The first one that I'm going to share is a cover that Aerosmith did. Now, a lot of people, as soon as you say Aerosmith and the Beatles, will instantly think of the Aerosmith cover of Come Together, which is great, and I've really nothing against it all. But on the record Permanent Vacation, they did a cover of I'm Down, which has always been one of my favorite early Beatles songs. Like, I'm very much a fan of the later Beatles material, but I've always loved when they do those bluesy type cuts like I'm Down, and Aerosmith absolutely nails it. Like, it's probably honestly my preferred version. Like, if I'm going to listen to I'm Down, I usually will reach for that version from Permanent Vacation first. Next up is one that this is probably the most well-known out of all the covers that I have on here is U2's version of Helter Skelter. There's a couple of things at play here. Number one, my personal favorite Beatles record is the White Album. 2, Helter Skelter is one of my favorite tracks on that album. And then 3, U2's live version of it that's on the Rattle and Hum LP starts that album, and it starts with a fantastic, for me, a iconic opening to a live cut. Like, a lot of people would say something like, I Want You to Want Me has an iconic opening. For me, Bono saying this song was stolen by Charles Manson, we're stealing it back, that's iconic, and I love that. And then the version of the song is fantastic too. The next one is a guy who covered the Beatles a couple of different times, and I would feel probably a lot of people don't know that he covered a couple of different Beatles songs. But Elvis Presley covered, he did Yesterday a couple of times, but for me, my favorite Elvis cover is Something. I'm a big George Harrison fan. I've always loved the song Something. Elvis has a way of singing love songs, whether or not he wrote it, to make you feel it in a different way than whomever wrote it. And to be honest, he was doing it for about 3 years of his career, from early 70 to about mid 73. And honestly, any version that you find from there, you can hear. And I think they're all equally great. Elvis really sings the song really, really well. Another one that is a cover of a song from the White Album by a band that I think everybody forgot past maybe their one hit. The band, the Georgia Satellites, do another favorite of mine from the White Album. It's a Ringo Starr song called Don't Pass Me By. And if you've ever heard the Georgia Satellites, you've probably heard Keep Your Hands to Yourself, or maybe their cover of the Hippie Hippie Shake. The nicest thing I can say about this, and I mean this very complimentary, is the Georgia Satellites doing Don't Pass Me By sounds exactly like you think the Georgia Satellites are going to sound doing Don't Pass Me By. It's a rocked up cover of it. Really like a lot more rockin' than the Beatles version. And I love the Beatles version. So that's another one I would tell you to check out. The last one is the song Across the Universe, which I'm aware has been covered several times by many different people. And there were a couple of covers in the 90s that got a lot of attention. Most people probably think I'm going to mention the Fiona Apple version. I have nothing against that version, but honestly, for me, the Rufus Wainwright version of Across the Universe, there's just something else to it. John Lennon's vocal on the original version of Across the Universe is a very, what I call like a lazy vocal. It's very light. And then Fiona Apple did it that way. And then Rufus Wainwright somehow finds a way to go even lighter with the vocal than John and Fiona did. So that's another one I would tell you to check out too. So in my opinion, those are 5 great covers of the Beatles. I know a ton of people have covered the Beatles. These artists have covered other Beatles songs. So I know if you're watching this video, you probably have something to contribute to the conversation. Let me know what you think of these covers. Let me know what some of your favorite Beatles covers are. Drop a like on the video if you would, please. That helps the channel grow. Also, if you could share the video out on your socials, that helps us grow as well. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.